Now she posts. Yeah, no, wait a second. She posts. Some emails here that she has involving Paul Manafort and Tim Oons and Bobby Peel. So there's a lot of stuff though that's not being Ron White, and this stuff is not being reported in the news is beyond me. It seems very odd to me. This isn't being talked about at all, especially this. What's this guy? Lubengold. What's his name? Howard Liebengood. And his father's connection to Stone and Manafort. Then we find out, more recently, that Charles Flynn, the brother of General Flynn, what's his first name? I forgot. Michael Flynn? General Flynn. Anyway, his brother, Charles Flynn, is a Deputy Chief of Staff of the Army, and he was not listed as participating in any of the calls that day. See, because in D.C., because they're not a state, they have to go through the Department of Defense in order to request help from the National Guard, because they're not a state. And he was the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Army. They had to go through him. And he was not listed as participating in any of the calls that day about mobilizing the National Guard to respond to the riot. But Flynn put out a statement saying, "I entered the room after the call began and departed prior to the call ending, as I believed the decision was imminent from then Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy, and I needed to be in my office to assist in executing the decision." So that delay in the National Guard showing up, and the National Guard showing up with no rifles and no guns and no bullets, was due in part to this participation of Charles Flynn, the brother of Michael Flynn, General Michael Flynn, who's been calling for martial law and a coup d'etat and all this kind of stuff like that. All right? There's a lot going on here. All right, guys? Then you have the whole business of this woman, this Representative Lauren Boebert of Colorado, who's a complete whack job nut, QAnon nut, and giving tours to the Capitol building prior to this storming. You have the guy who runs the Stop the Steal thing that was being directed by, what do you call it, GOP operatives. And then you got the guy who was caught with the Molotov cocktails, okay, and the guns and the bombs, had jotted down the phone number. He had Michael Levin, the radio talk show host, Sean Hannity, the radio talk show host, and Ted Cruz. He had several numbers for Ted Cruz, okay, jotted down on his Motel 6 stationery there. So what we see here is a lot more coordinated and uglier than we believe. There's also videos of them talking about seal up the tunnels and release the gas. It would almost appear that what we had here was, and I even said before this, if you look through my Twitter posts and my Facebook posts, I says the only thing that Trump has left is a Proud Boy type Bundy Ranch standoff of amateurs like that. That's all he could pull together. And he could pull together some Capitol Police guys he could have in his pocket, okay, and some the National Guard guys, General Flynn. He could pull together this kind of ragtag little operation and put together a Bundy Ranch style takeover. He's not going to get the Army and the Navy and the Air Force and all that kind of stuff. But he could have pulled off a Bundy Ranch type stalemate kind of thing, with these armed patriots, quote unquote. Patriots, by the way, who are in there stealing Nancy Pelosi's laptop and making arrangements to deliver it to Russia. Those patriots going to sell Nancy Pelosi's laptop to Russia. Amazing. Amazing that this is mainstream news. This isn't even what I'm giving you. This isn't even, my normal type of guest. Like I just had this guy talking about the Kira School for Boys, and he's telling me about the Freemasons and Lord Mountbatten and Jimmy Savile. These are Ted Cruz. These are mainstream names, man, going on here. We've had a crazy 4 years, man, and the world has totally changed, and it may be impossible to change it back. Now, you might say to me, hey, Ed, man, why are you complaining about the Capitol being stormed? Wouldn't you love to have your guys in there storming the Capitol? I would, of course I would, but not a fascist dictatorship coup. We want a people's revolution overthrow of these criminals and oligarchs. I don't cry a tear one for blood spilled during that attempted coup. Not a tear, okay? Because they're all capitalists. None of them are on my side. None of them would have an ounce of pity for me, or my kind, or my people, or my friends, or the people who listen to this show. All right? They're against us, not for us. But we don't want to make things worse with a fascist dictatorship without the checks and balances of the Supreme Court. Because, Trump's plan could have been to just wipe out the whole Congress. Wipe out every Democrat and every rhino in Congress so that he could blitzkrieg his way into full autocratic power. It's not like he's beyond. And I told you this. I predicted all this from the start. I says he's going to push every inch. He's going to push the envelope. He's going to get up to that line. He's going to cross it. He's going to break laws until somebody stops him. Okay, I know these guys. I've dealt with them my whole life. I deal with them right now. I'm one of them. Okay, right up to that line, man, and walk right over. Like, no one see me. It didn't happen. All right. Hey. And if you look at this coup attempt, okay, that involves what? Trump event management people who ran his campaign events, right? And Trump security guards and Bernie Kerik and Giuliani and all these characters. Lynn Wood, was totally nut crazy at this point. He's getting disbarred all over the place, man. I got a bunch of that stuff up in Patreon. Oh, what do I want to put up in Patreon too? There was something I was talking about today. Oh yeah, I got to put this up in Patreon. The 400-page grand jury report about the pedophile priests in Pennsylvania. And if you can't read the whole thing, man, read the 20-page summary in the beginning, the preface. It'll break your heart on the summary that they wrote, because they knew that no one's going to read the 400 pages. I'll put that up for free on Patreon as soon as I get a hold of it. I promise you. But if you look at this attempted coup, it was just as amateurish and in-your-face and run by the same goofy cast of characters as the attempted coup in Venezuela. I said Guatemala. I got that Guatemala in my mind. In Venezuela, that was run by Trump's former security guards, Trump security that ran security at his rallies, Rudy Giuliani's clients and coke dealer clients and money laundering clients, and Keith Schiller was involved in it, putting all this in together, and was so sloppy and so ragtag that it was put down by angry fishermen. Just like this one here, where we had many plants there in the hill, Capitol Hill cops, who stood by and let them come in. We had some waving them in. So it doesn't take a lot of guys, okay, in a police force to get the word out that what you want to happen that day. You just need a few cops that are former intelligence that certain people know I can trust these cops there. And then when you got that crowd there, and Trump's pumping up the crowd with his hypnotic suggestions about you have to fight, and Kimberly Guilfoyle there, the pervert. Fight. These are trigger words, man. They're hypnotizing you with those. Those are hypnotic suggestions, okay? To stir up that crowd. And all you need is about 10, 20 guys walking through that crowd saying, hey, we're going to storm the Capitol. Hey, guys, this is the plan, okay? And people say, wow, this guy's crazy. But someone will really let me follow this guy. Okay, it doesn't take a lot. And then you got those Proud Boys with their backpacks, with their tools, breaching those security walls. Don't tell me on your life that these are not some of the most secure buildings on the face of the earth. Okay, I've been, by the way, in those tunnels. We have a listener to this show, lives in D.C. The first time I took Victoria up there, he took us on a tour of the Library of Congress, where he worked as an intern at one point. He took us through those tunnels under Capitol Hill, under the Supreme Court. We've been under those tunnels. They are highly secured, even when there's no protests. Okay? So the idea that these people just be able to waltz through there, man, with a little bit of mace and some sticks and bats, is ridiculous. And even some of the video that's being leaked out, you can see that there were people in that crowd that were former military mercenary types that were leading the storm. By the way, one of the guys, too, who was funneled money to that in this new Hill report that came out tonight. What's this guy? Let's see if I remember his name. Mulvaney, Mick Mulvaney, who was a special envoy to Northern Ireland, who resigned the next day. Okay? Among the individuals listed on the permit was Maggie Mulvaney, a niece of former U.S. Special Envoy to Northern Ireland, who resigned from his role after... Who else resigned? Betsy DeVos, the brother of Eric Prince. Okay? Blackwater. All right? You think there were some Blackwater guys in that crowd? I don't know. My thinking at first was when people were laughing about me when I was bringing these things up early on, okay, was that I thought, well, maybe Trump approached Eric Prince with this idea, and Prince says, that's crazy, man. I'm not getting involved with that. Yeah, I'm not sending any guys. I'm going to get hung. I'll get, court-martialed to get shot. And Trump went ahead and did it, and Eric Prince says, well, we want no part of this. We want no part of Trump anymore. Betsy, you gotta resign and go to one of your 40 yachts worth over $11 million each. Okay, maybe that's what happened. I don't know. Or maybe they're just all covering their butts, and that's where they're resigning. It's hard to tell sometimes, but and it also, how these things happen. It becomes so confusing over the years that you never quite, they can throw a lot of stuff, but is Trump capable of doing that? I don't know. We need real hearings, maybe led by Bernie Sanders, into what went on there, or Ilhan Omar, or Ocasio-Cortez. Let's have some real hearings, man, by some people with balls and find out what happened that day when we all sat home watching that craziness on TV, man. Okay, I'm done. I'm out. Listen, I really did miss you guys the past couple of weeks, not being able to talk to you and not be able to bring you new content. I'm grateful that so many of you were loyal and you stayed active in Patreon. And we even added a few people, and some people increased their membership from $3 to $5 or from $5 to $10. Or those few $20 guys, man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it and how much we need that support and that income to keep us here going, to keep us alive. Because, life's a rat race, man. And it's a tough life, and it's even tougher when you're on your own and you're all alone and you don't have that kind of support and help that I had when my kid was here with me. Not that I don't have her love and support, but just I don't have her here with me. So I really appreciate all of you out there to help me out and support this show and support this work. And I have so much respect for this work. And for the rest of you, man, there's some sick people out there. I got to tell you, man, some sick, disturbed people. And you don't realize this before you get into the public eye, and then once you're there, there's no backing out, But you come into contact with a lot of crazy people, and you have no idea. And a lot of times it's not worth it. I forgot to tell you another big development. Might as well keep going and just skip the last commercial. Is the TV people have been back in contact with me, and it seems like we're back on track with the TV series. There's, again, some issues. They want to do filming in Las Vegas, and they want me to find some case in Las Vegas to do. And I don't understand why the cases I do for real aren't good enough. I don't know why. I can't understand, and maybe this is going to be a sticking point with these guys. But they are interested back in putting me on TV, which would be a big boost to all my work here and things I'm trying to get done. But it's got to be done right, and just coming up with wacky schemes and stuff like that. I'm not into that. It's got to be honest, 100% honest, 100% real, and 100%, not with a backdrop in Vegas. I don't need to be in Vegas to do the work I do, And I've done enough stuff this week that is interesting freaking stuff, man. I'm involved in a lot of stuff that I don't need to put up shtick. All right, I'm done. But thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here when I got back and not leaving me. And I really do miss you guys when I'm not around and not able to talk to you. So I love you very much. Good night.